Good evening. Hello. Welcome to the Week 18 special edition recap show playoff preview. I am your Sheperd. That, my goats, is the Commissioner Rhino. How are you, sir?
Doing good, doing good. A Monday, a little tired. Didn't sleep well, but a little tired. So long day at work. It's the first day in 2 weeks. All the teams are back, so it was
Uh,
louder than usual. I had my
let,
peace and quiet like I've had for the last 2 weeks.
let me ask you an important question.
Yeah,
Like, was the reason that you couldn't sleep that well because you were thinking about your upcoming matchup next Monday, a week from today, against the Minnesota Vikings?
yeah. A lot of it was that, and then the other part, I started getting to that show All American, and so I've been watching like two, 3 or 4 shows in a row. And then
Uh,
going to bed. I need to stop doing that because then yeah.
All right, so it was a
So, yeah,
it
I was
was
definitely thinking about the Rams.
it was a combination of football related slash my mind is enthralled into some sort of television series
Which
thing,
involves football.
and
So,
which involves
yeah,
football as well. All right. Well, yeah, Commissioner Rhino. I mean, look, the fantasy season has come to an end, but that does not mean at all one bit that the fantasy goat stops
no,
rolling. No, not at all. And we're gonna be here for you goats. There's the amount of shows per week. The frequency of shows, podcasts, streams, however you want to call it, will reduce by a certain extent, but nevertheless, the season does not stop. The NFL season is
no.
a year-round, 365-day extravaganza event programming, and we're going to be here for you every step of the way. Just maybe not 5 days a week. So just be on the lookout for us, of course.
Yeah, it's a good thing to use this time, playoff time, to scout who you want to draft next year. Look for those hidden gems that just all of a sudden pop up, like Jordan Winnington yesterday. And I knew that was going to. He looks good. If Cup retires, he'll step in seamlessly. People like him. There'll be hidden gems in each game, so keep eye out and just write it down someplace. Make a note of it, mental note or notes on your phone or something, so that way
For sure.
that helps you. That helps you succeed. Helps you get the championships. You know?
Well, yeah, I'm certainly a believer in that. I'm also a firm believer of staying on top of the news.
Yeah.
And we do have, of course, we got current news. It is Black Monday in the NFL, so yeah, we do have some of that news. But I'm talking about the player news. Um, you know, whether it be the free agency market or whether it be
Mhm.
what they're doing or what they're actually doing in the off season.
Or what they're saying after a football game.
What Yeah, all of it, all of that. I'm a big believer in that. I'm also a big believer in take it again a half a step back to your point. Use the time to evaluate the players that are still actually playing this
Yep.
game. How they're finishing. Yeah, I mean, I'm a big believer that there were a couple of instances. I mean, I can think of off the top of my head that we saw players that did really well in the playoffs. Now, did they fully pan out to their full potential, like a Brandon Ayuk? No,
No.
no. I mean, last year Brandon Ayuk was a success in the playoffs. That didn't work out due to injury. However, situations, instances like that. Speaking of other wide receivers, now, did you want to start with the big news out of Miami, or did you want to maybe go to the head coaches, and then from there, folks, we will get into um, the games that were played yesterday,
Let's yeah.
specifically the NFC.
Let's do coaches then coordinators because
Yeah, a couple of coordinators lost their
yeah.
job today too. Absolutely. So
Wasn't
yeah,
really surprised with the ones that got fired today. I know a lot of Raider Nation is upset that AP didn't get fired, but Mark Davis said that this in and out, going exchanging coaches and stuff, year in year out, is hurting him. So he's going to lean on Tom Brady. So he wants to see what continuity. And Mark Davis point blank said, we didn't fill the team for him. We didn't set him up for success. So let's see what he does. Set him up for success. See what he does. You know. That was, and then I know a lot of people were surprised that the Giants didn't fire Dabo and the GM.
Not your Sheperd.
No, you weren't. No.
Much to that same reasoning. Well, no. Not. Well, part of that. You were talking about not wanting to continuously turn over the team every year, every 2 years. Let some of these guys attempt, or give them at least a solid opportunity to, to put their footprint onto a team's success. Now, in the case the Raiders okay, that's a different situation than the Giants. The Giants, however, again, the best thing that worked out in, I would say, Brian Dable and Joe Shane's favor, aside from their last draft class, was the fact of all the dudes that came before them.
Yeah.
The amount of head coaches that they kept going through. So, that's why if we didn't see that firing weeks ago, the writing seemed to have been positively on the wall, positively being like, it didn't seem like they were really going to lose their job, and they didn't, and they're going to get another opportunity.
And one thing too is both the Giants and Raiders were playing hard were playing hard. They weren't giving up. They weren't calling the shit in. They were playing hard. And then that says something about the coaches, that the players playing hard for them, to amount to success,
Yeah. I think Antonio Pierce also made an interesting comment. I don't know if it's, I think I may have seen it on X, so I don't know if it really came out of his mouth or not. Maybe you could confirm that or not. He said that if there's one lesson to be learned from this season is to go with his gut.
He said,
I don't know.
Yeah. So basically, somebody asked him what would he change, and he said, "Probably changed going my gut was so much,
right?
Because that caused him a couple plays here and there, So, hey, good for him, and he's got people there to help him with those kind of decisions that he's hired, like Tom Coughlin and old heads that have head coaches, but he
loves Tom Coughlin.
We as fantasy football players or owners and stuff, we can have I have a gut feeling so-and-so is going to go off, and put that person in, and then they just lay a damn egg. So much for your gut feeling.
No, that's bullshit.
Yeah.
In my mind, that's bullshit.
No, I agree, but but a lot of times it pays off. Well,
that's just like, you flip a coin. Okay, you call tails, it lands on tails. Flip a coin again, call tails, it lands on heads. that to me is what that sounds like. Not necessarily that's your belief, but in the generalization of the theory. Nevertheless, so Antonio Pierce is safe. Good for him. Give him another. He's going to get a year. I don't know if,
at least a year.
Depending on how the beginning of 2025 shakes out, or the first quarter, first half, he's at least going to get the season. He's good to start. Same thing for the Giants. Same thing for those guys. They're going to get the opportunity to bring in new players. They're going to be able to develop players that are already there. And look, they're going to have to start off well.
Yeah, they're going to have to start off well.
They're going to have to start off.
They better draft well too.
Yeah, well, that didn't seem well. for the Giants.
They had a pretty decent draft this year. They got a stud offensive lineman and Brock Bowers and some other pieces of the defense, but they need to hit it. They need a running back. They need what they're going to do with quarterback.
Yeah, I heard something very interesting today. Hello, Sniper. How are you doing? What was a funny line I heard? Oh yes. Talking about pieces on the roster, and I think Daniel Jeremiah in the NFL Network, he said, "Well, that's all well and good. That's like talking about a house and talking up all the drapes and how wonderful the drapery is without a foundation."
Right. No. Oh, yeah.
So, yeah, I get it. I get that. Yeah, it's good. Yeah, you've got a quote unquote generational tight end, and you've got good pieces. Yeah, you're gonna need the foundation. You need the foundations, the quarterbacks. The same thing for the Jets. Yeah, you've got Garrett Wilson, and you've got Brees Hall, and you've got Quinn Williams. You've got great pieces.
Yeah,
that's great. Well, what about the quarterback? But we're gonna save that. Let's save that, Rhino. Let's save that for this upcoming Thursday. We will get into the AFC.
Yeah. Let's talk about coaches a little more.
Specifically the teams that played this past Sunday, the playoff teams that are in the wild card round moving forward. We'll and then of course moving forward, even throughout this postseason and off season, we will talk about what teams are going to need. Right? How teams need to improve, where they need to improve, I should say.
Yeah.
Again, just because, just to use your team as an example, Rhino, not picking at all, just because the Rams made the postseason and are playing and won the division, doesn't mean that they are. That doesn't mean that they are in spots where they could use improvements.
There's spots.
Yeah, no. Every team. You don't think? I mean, the Chiefs need to retool in some areas.
Yeah, offensive line.
Just some small examples. Who was actually axed today in Black Monday?
Doug Peterson was.
He was fired in Thanksgiving. Doug Peterson, he lost his job. Did you happen to see any of that type of press conference? It wasn't even a press conference. You know what? That owner looked like he was on a stream like this, only he wasn't. His background was like AI generated.
Doesn't surprise me.
It was like a fake green room or green screen, whatever you want to call it. Like we have that ability here too. I could show you. I could put myself into a nice fancy background, and you. Doug Peterson was fired. The GM retains his job,
which is crazy.
Oh, yeah, I mean, it's crazy because like the GM's.
What has he done though? I mean,
what's up, Mr. Bakes?
Mr.
Bako. What has he done? You know what? It just leads me to believe that he is more or less a numbers guy. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. A lot of that is the GM's primary responsibility is to make sure that you're cap compliant and whatnot, and you're signing players and making agreements that are not going to kill your franchise, and so on and so forth. Almost like DFS, you're picking players, but are you picking players with the right cost attached to them?
Yeah.
So I mean, that is, maybe Trent Baalke is pretty good at that. What they're not very good at though is I don't know. I mean,
Tom Coughlin was the last time they had a really good coach. If you think about it.
Yeah. Yeah, that was a long time ago.
Mm-hmm.
That wasn't he like the franchise's first head coach?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Then they went to Urban Meyer after that. So, Mr. Banks a lot. Who do we got?
Bucks versus Ravens. Bucks versus Ravens. Holy smokes, Mr. Big Goat. I don't have the Bucks that far. I don't. I don't have the Ravens beating the Chiefs either. Still, and it's interesting that you're bringing up the Lions because if they were to have lost that game last night and the Vikings would have had the 1 seed, the Lions would have then slipped down to the 5 and not have a home game or at least not
Playing the Rams.
not at
There's,
least.
there's, there's a lot of hot blood between the teams. A lot.
Well, I don't I would I was thinking more along the lines of the Lions having to have gone on the road to the
Yeah.
Eagles, and I think that's where it would have stopped for me.
You don't think the Rams would beat them?
It's going to be tough. It's really going to be tough. Again, I mean, the Lions team is playing out of their minds right now. They really are, but it gives them just like an extra. It gives them an extra oomph just being there in Detroit. Um, that's not to say that the Rams couldn't pull off an upset, but I think the Rams would have to be able to keep up with them. Can the Rams keep up with the Lions?
Yeah. They lost to them in the regular season overtime game. That's when the defense was trying to fill each other out.
The Rams.
No Puka Nakua, no Cooper Cup.
I mean, again, it's like so like just when you thought that the Lions defense may have been like the Achilles heel, or at least that secondary may have been the Achilles heel, they put together a fantastic game plan last night.
Yeah, they did.
And put down the Vikings. And I don't mean to use that particular word. I don't mean it like that, but stopped the Vikings and that potent offense. It'll be a dogfight either way. I would probably side with the Lions. I probably would. Wouldn't surprise me the other way though. It wouldn't surprise me. The Rams would have to be able to. The Rams would have to be able to put up 30, 35, 38. Keep up with them. If they could do that,
we'll see. We'll see when it happens.
And it becomes that type of shootout.
Yeah,
at that point, yeah.
The Rams get by Minnesota first, so which they have a strong chance to do.
Chiefs versus Packers. Sniper, please tell me that you're indoors, not outdoors, where the cold might be affecting your judgment. We're gonna get to the Packers. I mean, we have to get to the Packers because they lost to the Bears. Now forget about that. Forget about the fact that they actually lost to the Bears.
No, the big news out of that game was
which doesn't happen often.
Watson tears ACL and more damage than that, they're saying. So now you lost Watson for a year.
Yeah,
maybe longer.
I would think at minimum. I mean, at least unless he could really come back in a 10-month window, but it's unfortunate. It is because you kind of have to feel bad for him because he keeps getting hurt. This guy, obviously, the body, this game, they don't agree with one another. Obviously, I mean, unless this is it, and like all the injury woes are all out of the way in his young 3-year career, but it generally does not happen like that. Unless you know what I mean, like there is precedence. There is a little bit of precedence. I think we could point to maybe Tim Patrick.
Yeah.
Tim Patrick seems to have now been able to right the ship, managed to stay healthy this season.
What makes me nervous is the fact that they said ACL and plus there's more damage. So what else? What's the other damages Like
Yeah, no,
nerve damage, what?
it's shitty.
Yeah.
It's shitty. She says cold as fuck.
And then Jordan Love,
And Jordan. Okay, right. So there's the other one.
and
Now
they're saying they're using we pull him to be precautionary, but that's his elbow, right? It was his elbow that he hurt, or
it's the elbow that may be causing the tingling in the hand.
right?
Yes, yes.
Which that's the same thing Purdy's going through. That's why Purdy,
Yes, it's like a pinch. It's a pinch nerve, I guess.
yeah,
Essentially is
and
what it is.
that needs to be fixed. Otherwise, they're not gonna have a
Ulnar
chance
nerve.
against Philadelphia.
Yes, it's the ulnar nerve. Um,
Thank you, Dr. Mel.
yeah, no, the ulnar. Yes, just like there's an ulnar ligament, there's the ulnar nerve. Nevertheless, Jordan Love is most likely going to play. The offense, you would think that they shouldn't be, that it, the Packers offense shouldn't be that diminished because
No,
of Watson not playing, but they're just not. They haven't been playing well even with him lately.
no,
They
there's
just
too many.
they've been
It seems like jet streams with Jaden Reed, long bombs downfield, and then maybe short intermediate passes to the tight end. They're not
they say,
they're not playing within they're not playing within themselves, and LaFleur is a better play caller than that.
they
You know,
they seem to be a tick off. They seem to be a tick off. Josh Jacobs hasn't been, you know, the smash running back that he's been over the last, throughout at least three
yeah.
quarters of the season. Yeah, he did score last yesterday, but
I
still.
forgot. Somebody
Um,
said last night on Twitter. One of the bigger accounts said that they need to let Jordan Love cook. Just let him cook.
and like throw the ball.
Yeah. So I
Yeah.
think it almost seems to me that they've lost their identity. They don't know if they want to be a running team or pass happy team or what, and they need to figure that shit out, especially against Philadelphia, because I think they can beat Philadelphia.
Well, this is a repeat of the Rio game.
Oh, yeah.
First game of the year, which I believe they lost, but that again, week one in Brazil is not a really good,
No.
not a good benchmark. not a good tell in terms of where these teams are, because like the Eagles have done nothing but win since that, and have shored up their defense since that. And Saquon Barkley has ran for 2,000 yards since that.
Like Green Bay has shored up their defense too, and they're missing Jair Alexander, but their defense has gotten better and better each week too.
Yeah, no, there's an interesting matchup going on between the Packers secondary and how they play their coverages versus how the Eagles and their passing attack. So that is definitely going to be something interesting to see. Now, from there, again, the X factor is most likely going to be Saquon and Jalen Hurts and what they do in terms of how they utilize him rushing the ball. So
the benefit that Green Bay has going to Philadelphia, going outside, going cold weather, is they're used to that weather. It's not like the Rams going up to Philadelphia or Minnesota, who plays any dome team going to Philadelphia.
No,
they'll be able to handle it better.
No. I wouldn't say there's any weather factor in this game at all.
No.
Not one bit. There's there's a home field,
yes,
and the actual and the crowd in the stadium factor, but definitely not temperature or climate or elements. No, I mean Green Bay. No, that wouldn't be an angle that I would look at all. Not like the Dolphins last season that had to go to the Kansas City with the temperature was 0.
Mr. Bakeslot put it in the comment who's going to be starting quarterback, because Hurts still is a concussion protocol.
He's still in protocol.
You know, so if he's not playing by Wednesday, or if there's no signs, then they play Saturday. It's going to be hard pressed for him to play Saturday. And Pickett, I think it's still.
They don't.
I think Pickett's fine. I think it kind of just rested him, because the game was meaningless. So if Hurts can't go, then Pickett will go.
Well, let me put it to you this way.
Put it to me this way. Put it to me. Give it to me.
If Jalen Hurts does not clear protocol, then the Packers could just start preparing for the next week. Kenny Pickett's not winning a playoff game. I don't care what other surrounding cast is around him. That's number one.
Barkley is, though. I understand what you're saying, but
it don't matter. Number two, Jalen Hurts will clear protocol at some point during the week. You would think Wednesday or Thursday to start practicing. And lastly, which isn't just a minor oversight, I'm sure on your part, and it's usually oversight on my part because I'm the one who's all discombobulated upstairs.
Mm-hmm.
I believe the Packers-Eagles are on Sunday.
Oh, they are Sunday.
Yeah. The two AFC teams play on Saturday.
Okay.
Yeah. So I mean, again, it gives him another day, but he's been out for 2 weeks already. It's been 2 weeks, Bake Scope. So Kenny Pickett is not. He's not starting this game. Jalen Hurts will start this game anyway. Sniper, how are your seats? I'm sure your seats are really good. Trophy Stealer Goat. Championship 2 out of 5 and a third place 2 out of 5.
Nice.
You're a fucking goat.
Let's go.
Sunday 3:30 is when the game is. Yeah, man. Trophy Stealer, man. Great shit. We just wrapped up the Beat the Doc, the final tabulations that came in. I posted that, I believe, into the chats.
I stopped.
No, I'm sure. No, I know. But so the second place team actually came out of that league. My league saw 3 out of 10.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. And then the winner, the champion, actually came out of League 3. And the champion, and the only reason why I'm rounding this up now, a little roundup, is because he was not leading going into the playoffs. Let me tell you the player that he does have on his team. You ready? Want to take a guess?
McMillan.
No.
I don't know.
He played last night.
Oh, JSN?
Jahmyr Gibbs.
Oh, okay. Jeez. Yeah. Jahmyr Gibbs went off last night. Good Lord.
Sir Bakescoat. Tanner McKee has only 28 touchdowns in his 10 yet. Let's hope it's not him throwing the ball against Jair Alexander. Well,
Alexander's out.
No,
they are.
It's not going to be him, Bakescoat. It's not going to be Kenny Pickett. It'll be Jalen Hurts. This is where my conspiracy hat gets put on. There's no way in hell Jalen Hurts would miss this game or be told that he can't play in this game. Where all the backdoor under the table shit that we don't ever hear about occurs where they clear him. He's gonna clear. Mark my words. Mark my words. You sitting in metal bleachers. Well, were the bleachers good? Well, close. Your bleachers were probably close. You're an owner. Well, actually, everyone's an owner there. You have to figure out MFL. That's a terrible site to figure out. Terrible site. I know that's where the Scott Fishbowl playoffs are on, and that's a terrible site to figure out. It's like so outdated, it's not even funny. All right, well, Commissioner Rhino.
What we got next?
No, let's go to this. Rhino Sniper Mel is asking about protocol being 3 weeks.
I don't think there's really there's 5 steps that a player has to go through. Look at Chris Olave. Take him for instance. He I don't think he ever cleared. Maybe he did. I'm not sure, but he was on a long time. I think Hurts has been on it for 3 weeks or 4 weeks. He's been on for a while.
Less than that.
Yeah.
Less than that.
There's 5 steps that the player has to go through to be cleared. I don't know all 5 steps. I was just reading about them today. But if he's not clearing it, then
it's the players that are put into the protocol. Okay, there are 5 steps, 5 quote unquote activities that they have to do. They have to pass, and you can't do more than one activity, one step in a day. So if it's let's say you get a concussion on a Sunday and it's now Monday, the independent neurologist will now examine you on Monday to see whether you had passed that step, cleared that first hurdle. If not, you're stuck on one on Tuesday. Now it's Tuesday. You have to do that activity, that one step. Okay, fine. You passed. You passed on Tuesday, your first step, so on and so forth. Now that second step on a Wednesday, you may not pass that step on a Wednesday. You're going to have to do that second step on a Thursday. And that's when your window to play now is starting to shrink.
And I think I've read that he hasn't passed his first step yet. Don't quote me on it. I believe.
I won't quote you on that.
Yeah.
In any event, that's. I would only go to an Eagles beat reporter for any of that information, any of that. I don't get how to pick MFL. Oh boy, man, that's how above my frozen brain right now. Yeah, okay. How about this one, Rhino? How about a nice feel-good story rather than
I love everything about
rather than these concussions and this gloom and doom and this freezing. How about the nice warm weather of sunny Florida and sunny records being broken? How about that? How about Mike Evans, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls and goats?
I was driving my buddy crazy because I had the YouTube, so I had the 4 screen. And so every time he'd catch, I was like, okay, he's this much. And then when they went ahead after Bucky scored that touchdown, I was like, oh, crap. He's only 5 yards away. And they get the ball back. I was like, that's freaking awesome. Good for the team to do that. And then to see the team celebrate with him like that. He's the epitome of what a wide receiver of an NFL player should be like, just no deep and nothing. He's anti-deep.
It's refreshing.
It is. It's very refreshing. So you root for people like that. You do, and you hear all this stuff, how good he is out in the community and stuff like that. You root for. You want people like that to win. Period. And then having and then just whole. I love the Buccaneers. They're probably one of my favorite. They're my sleeper team to go all the way.
Interesting.
Yeah, they're my sleeper team to go all the way.
Interesting because they have a really interesting matchup against the Commanders. We'll talk about the Commanders in a minute. Yes, I'm gonna agree wholeheartedly with about 110% of what you just said. This dude's been doing it now for a good decade. Yeah. Okay, your average shelf life of the NFL player isn't even close to that.
Yeah, and he missed what? He missed games this year?
He gets nicked up here. He gets nicked up there. Nothing apparently has been catastrophic if he's doing this consecutively, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So, nothing catastrophic, which is a good thing. And he is it was nice to see like the Bucs did not have to line up, take that snap and run that play. They didn't have to do that at all, and they did it. They knew they were doing it anyway.
Yep.
Like they were going to do it. It was like already predetermined. They were like they weren't just watching the scoreboard in terms of watching, to make sure that the Falcons had lost, which they did. But yeah, they were whoever's on the sidelines, like a statistician or a water boy, whatever the case may be, was they knew obviously they knew,
Yeah.
and yeah, good for them.
I think the Bucks match up well with just about any team if they get their missing pieces back for defense and they tighten their defense up because they have a good running game, they have good receivers, they have a good quarterback. And he takes care of the ball pretty damn good too, and they play solid. It's their defense that might hold them back a little bit, but if until Winfield Jr. comes back and he's a cornerback, a DB, their starting DB is out too. So if they get the right pieces back, then they can make some noise.
They get Winfield back, or at least they are expecting Antoine Winfield back. But you just said it though. You just said defense is a little
shaky,
the secondary a little. I mean, what's the expression that all I know of my whole football life? Defense wins championships. So that's why I'll go back to Sir Bake's goat. And he threw up the Bucks. I'm like, Bucks. I mean, like they're gonna have a tough time beating the Commanders. They're gonna have to score points with the Commanders or vice versa.
It's gonna be like a 35-31 kind of game.
That's gonna be a shootout. That's correct. I expect that to fully be a shootout. And for all you goats that are watching right now, we are not full on gamblers here on the Fantasy Goat Show. Yes, we do play some DFS, but we are not full-on gamblers. I would take the over in this game. I know enough about it.
Yeah.
Nevertheless. Yeah. Nice, feel good, nice moment. For Baker as well. Baker Mayfield. I mean, he threw one less touchdown than Joe Burrow this season.
Yeah.
Take a look at that.
Dude was left for dead.
He was practically left for dead. Yeah. That's right.
That's like because he's made comments about how thankful he was to be able to pick up by the Rams and play for McVay. How McVay saved him.
Yeah.
And that's why he plays so good with Liam Cohen, because Cohen was his OC. When he was with the Rams.
You've got some nice skill position players. A couple of our favorites.
Yeah.
Aside from Mike Evans, rookie Bucky, rookie Jalen.
Yeah.
It's gonna be fun. It's gonna be fun drafting these guys.
Yeah.
Sniper. Make sure you put a pin into your cork board for Bucky Irving and Jalen McMillan. Not Kate Otten. It's not going to be Kate Otten, dear.
No.
By the way, did you see who did score? We'll save that for Thursday. One of our favorite tight ends scored this weekend. Do the Chiefs go to the Super Bowl? That's my pick. After what I saw last year and what they've done this entire season, there's no reason to think otherwise. There really isn't. They're the team that's battle tested. Battle tested. I keep using that word. I'm going to continue to use it until they prove me wrong. And here's the other thing, Rhino. I bet against them last year, and I was made to, and I was like, I'm not going to do it again. Let them prove me wrong.
Let
them prove me wrong.
I want Buffalo.
I wouldn't mind it. I wouldn't mind seeing Buffalo at all. So yes, if Buffalo could beat the Chiefs, then I'll be happy with that. I don't think they could beat the Chiefs in our
we'll get to the AFC teams Thursday. That's gonna be fun.
You're right. Let's stop it. Stop it, Sniper.
Put a Band-Aid on the AFC teams right now.
Sniper likes to throw us off.
So with the Washington game, the Commanders, they sat Daniels in the second quarter?
Yeah, going. I think I know where you're headed with this, but go ahead.
And they actually look pretty decent still. But I think I think that was smart of them preserving him.
That's not where I thought you were going.
Oh, really?
Yes, Marcus Mariota did look nice. Nice. Hit Scary Terry.
And that was for
Hit
money.
Scary Terry.
That was
Speaking
that was to break the Commanders.
Yeah. And speaking of, again, another feel-good stories, not at the same scale or level as Mike Evans, but you gotta feel nice. You gotta feel good for Terry McLaurin. Good, another good dude who's just suffered for years now. No, where I thought you were going to go is that there's reports out earlier today that Jaden Daniels wasn't necessarily taken out of the game because they just want to preserve him, rest him.
Oh, really?
Yeah, no, there may be a little something like some kind of nick. He may have tweaked something. So like they took him out. They fully expect him to practice. They fully expect him to play. It's something that we're fully going to monitor.
Yeah. Yeah,
that's where I thought you were going to go.
And I think they match up well, but I think where the Buccaneers have a lead on them is a run game.
Yeah,
I think the new theory now, or the clears. So the kids are saying clears them.
I don't know.
Whatever crap that is, I see. But I think, and then Rashid White he's better than Eckler. So I think that's where the difference of the game will be is in the running game between the two teams. So I think the receivers match up pretty good. The defense, their defense, Kamara's defense is the same problem as the Buccaneers' secondary.
Yes, completely agree. I do. That's why I think it's going to be a back and forth battle.
Yeah.
The Commanders. The Brian Robinson Jr. stinks. We know what Austin Eckler is. We know what the other dude is. The Buccaneers' one game is superior to that, but we know where the X factor lies there with the Commanders is Jaden Daniels running. Yeah. Jaden Daniels rushing the ball where Baker Mayfield does not. Yeah,
he did yesterday, but not much.
If I had to call this game again, not a betting man, not gambling on this, but I would think that the Buccaneers will squeak this one out at home, just based on a little bit. I guess based on pedigree. I mean, Baker Mayfield's got the pedigree now.
And plus, they were in the playoffs last year, so they have that kind of experience. So we get teams that haven't had that experience. Their highs get a little bit too high sometimes. They start overthinking things a little bit,
and make the mistake. It's that one mistake. It's that one turnover. You can't turn the ball over, folks.
And Jaden Daniels didn't play any like big bowl games, he played some meaningful college games, but not bowl games like the championship where that helps them. That you know what I mean.
The Bucs have the experience, the pedigree, whatever you want to call it for this game. But nevertheless, look, the Commanders took advantage of the opportunity presented to them. And I don't mean by drafting Jaden Daniels. I mean by watching Jerry and his team fall apart.
What?
And the Giants fall apart. So, I mean, and then the Commanders they won ball games. Yeah. They won games against not just their division, but all over the place. And okay, they've earned the right to be here. And look, all good things must come to an end.
Wouldn't it be funny if Commanders got a game up to 28-3 and lose? Dan Quinn was head coach of Atlanta when they were up 28-3 and lost in Super Bowl to Tom Brady.
Are you foreshadowing this?
I'm just saying. I hope not, man. But it'd be weird, man. It'd be.
Am I going to start calling you like prophet? The prophecy of Dan Quinn continues. Now that was epic. It doesn't get any more epic than that. in terms of
Yeah.
having a lead and collapsing. But I mean,
Can you imagine that though? Can you imagine the flack he would get online?
no, I can't.
Woo!
It would be enormous. But I'm not sure. Again, I'm not sure if anyone's really. Well, number one, I don't remember whether the Falcons were favored in that game or not. But number two, I'm not sure. Like, what do you think the line is in that game? Where like I can't see the Commanders being favored in this game.
No, I don't think so.
No, not at all. How about a couple of throwaway games? Couple of throwaway games before we could get to the pride of Los Angeles. You know,
Okay.
what can we take away from this game? Well, Bijan Robinson came close to about 2,000 total scrimmage
Yes,
yards
he
for the
did.
year. 2,000 yards. He finished the season last 3 games with 6 touchdowns. He had 170 yesterday on the ground. I mean, he's at max Q as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah.
I don't know how much higher his game could go than close to 2,000 yards, and I believe 14, 15 total touchdowns. Nevertheless,
He could because I was saying this beginning of the season too. He could
I guess
maybe next year pull a Todd Gurley kind of year with almost 2,200 yards of scrimmage and like 21 touchdowns combined, some numbers like that.
I guess. Yeah, I mean, look, we could play the game where, well, I mean, like, how many total touchdowns did Tyler Algier have? Those could have very well have gone to Bijan Robinson, but then there's no guarantee that Bijan would have scored those opportunities. Nevertheless, Drake London closed out fantastic.
Yep.
So did Bijan. No coincidence at all that those 2 games were without Kirk Cousins, and that's unfortunate. There is some talk, some chatter, blah 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 blah. That
they'll keep him as a backup if they can't get rid of him.
Kurt might be on the move also.
Yeah,
but,
if they can't trade him, then they'll keep him as a backup.
We'll save that for the offseason though, because again, I think that like let the Falcons, you know, let them relax a little bit now.
Falcons need to tighten that shit up on the defense. If they do good in free agency and draft good, because that's 2 weeks in a row that they lost overtime.
They got their running back.
They got the quarterback.
They got the
Penix looks really good.
I guess they got their quarterback.
Yeah, he looks good.
Small sample, but yeah. They've got other good role players. They've got Ray.
Mm-hmm.
Can't forget about Ray. Can't forget Ray.
Had a career year this year. They signed him to be a kick returner and ends up being the number 3 wide receiver and puts up pretty good numbers.
Rhino, how much do you want to bet me that Mel drafts Ray next season?
In the 3rd round?
No. Whatever round it is.
No.
You wouldn't want to bet that, would you?
No, I wouldn't.
No, don't. I wouldn't take your money. I wouldn't take your money.
But the one thing I will take away from this game is Bryce Young.
Yes. Absolutely.
I guess, hey, he might be him. You know, I don't know, but he looked good. He's been playing good. So that when they sat him down, that was probably the best thing for him. And then stuff I've read and stuff that he's in Andy Dalton's ear all the time. When he goes back to the bench, he's just Andy Dalton. So he's listening to Andy Dalton, you know, the Red Rifle. But they don't need to worry about drafting a quarterback now. You know,
look, if Andy Dalton is available to him, by all means, if Bryce Young wants to ask numerous amounts of questions that is going to help him, please go ahead. If it's not Andy Dalton, anyone, the head coach, but yes, Head coach has came out and said we've got our guy. The owners came out and said they have their guy. Yeah, okay. And you know what I'm gonna say is yes, it's looked good the last several weeks. Fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice. So
Done.
we were very high on this damn team last off season also.
Yeah.
So again, I want to kind of pump the brakes a little bit.
Oh no, I'm pumping the brakes.
I want to pump them just a little bit. Yes. Hopefully Chuba comes back and is the Chuba that we know.
Yeah.
This Chuba.
And Brooks.
I don't know what you're going to get out of the wide receiver room, so on and so forth. But yet, again, this is a little bit more of an off-season conversation.
Yeah.
And again, both teams are now an off-season conversation. The other game, a throwaway. For playoff purposes, this is a throwaway game as well because none of them will be playing this week.
I didn't know they beat them that bad.
That bad.
Yeah, I didn't know that. So I saw the report today. Holy crap, man.
And I mean all of us, the GOATs, are going to have to take a real hard examination, if you will, and really decide whether we are going to be in on the Kyler Murray business again. Because he threw 4 touchdowns week 18, and it helps nobody.
Right.
Except for his stats for what we're going to be now looking at down the road. Oh, well, he finished with XY. Great.
And that's how
Where the hell was he all year?
All season long, he's been like this.
Where the hell was he all year long? He got Marvin Harrison into the end zone. He got Trey McBride into the end zone. I think he got Phil Dortch. Is that his name?
Greg Dortch.
Greg Dortch. Who's Phil Dortch? Is that a golfer?
I don't know. I don't know.
But you get my point.
Yeah.
So yeah, we're gonna have to
game because the Niners are banged up.
We're gonna have to take a real serious. We're gonna have to seriously consider whether we want to be in this Kyler Murray nonsense again. Marvin Harrison Jr. We're going to be in the Marvin Harrison Jr. business again, but it's just going to be in a different spot of the draft.
And
what that spot is, I'm not exactly sure yet.
Well, Arizona shop.
Right.
Arizona shop. Kyler Murray.
The trade. We're going to be in the Trey McBride business again,
yeah,
and it's probably going to be, and that's going to be probably around the same spot.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe even higher. Maybe a little bit higher.
He'll take over Kelsey's spot in the draft.
But this Kyler Murray nonsense it causes you gray hair. Davante Adams back into what? What are you speaking? What is he? Is that what you're laughing at? I know she wishes Davante Adams will go back to Green Bay. The only way that happens is if Aaron Rodgers goes back to Green Bay.
They have to have the money to do it too.
There's again, Rhino. Let's save Davante Adams and Aaron Rodgers for Thursday.
Yeah.
There's already chatter. I'm gonna do a half deep dive. Half deep. I'm not sad about the new Niners. Speaking of so the Niners. Yeah, we got Patrick Taylor. Great. Isaac Orendo got hurt.
Of course.
If you were playing week 18 best ball, okay, and you had Ricky Pearsall on your team, that was a good game. Other than that, what else was there to report here? Nothing. Nothing from the Niners. I mean, they're kind of like in purgatory. I mean, I know that the Niners got good culture. They've got a good front office. You wouldn't. They're kind of old.
They're one of the old teams in the NFL.
They are old. They are old in important spots.
Mm-hmm.
In important spots, they are kind of aging. But yeah, so that's a throwaway game. Rodgers done. Well, I don't know about that. Yeah, you're a goat. Mr. Big Goat.
Yeah.
Sniper Goat. What's the female version of a goat? I gotta look that up.
I don't know.
I gotta look that up. Do we have? I think we have one more game. Those are 2 throwaway games. The Niners is a throwaway. Oh yes, of course we do. Of course we have another game.
It's funny because they only beat the Rams by freaking 5 points, and Rams sat
Everyone
just about.
Everyone.
They only played 11 snaps. They played, yeah. So, okay. Since this game is up, what in the hell are they doing? Freaking firing freaking their offensive coordinator. Somebody help me make sense of that. That makes no sense when JSN had a career year, Geno Smith had a career year. I saw that as like, what in the hell? And hey, if they want to make stupid things like that, as a Rams fan, let's see how do it. But as a football fan, that made no sense whatsoever.
The only sense that it makes is the fact that they're not connected to one another.
Then why you hire the guy?
I don't think he did.
No, yeah, he wasn't the offensive coordinator last year.
No, I know that. That's not what I'm hearing though. I'm hearing that he did not hire him.
Who hired him?
Someone in the front office. Whoever that guy Schneider did.
Yeah, so let's bring him up then. How's he still GM when he drafts like shit? You have a team that has a bad O-line, and you draft a defensive tackle who was supposed to be the next Aaron Donald. It had, I think, 2 sacks all season long. I mean, he drafted JSN last year. Yeah, I'll give him that, but still.
Well, again,
it doesn't make sense.
It reminds me. It reminds me very much of the Giants.
Really?
Like they have kind of drafted decent or above decent. They drafted JSN. That's a home run right now. They drafted, 2-3 years ago. It was Kenny Walker. That's borderline. Zach Charbonnet
and Witherspoon and Kobe
Witherspoon.
They drafted good in some spots, but they haven't drafted good in the O-line spot, which is freaking important. Kind of important to have a good O-line. So I feel bad for Blake Corum. Fractures his forearm in the game. He's out now. Ronnie Rivers looked good, but the one person that really looked good other than JSN is Jordan Whittington. He looked good. He looked really good. He almost broke off a freaking kickoff return for a touchdown too.
Well, from my seat anyway, the only issue with Whittington is the fact that he's behind a Pro Bowl wide receiver in Puka, All Pro, a Hall of Fame wide receiver in Cup.
Yeah,
and your snaps are limited.
My guess, this is my guess. What's going to happen in the season? Just real quick here, is that Cup is he going to retire, get cut, or get released, or traded? I mean,
I wouldn't expect the last two for Cooper Kupp. You think they would release him?
They might, yeah, because of money.
I don't see that. I mean, that would be kind of crazy, but it's not out of the question. But I mean, again, I don't see them doing that though. This is it's like one of their Super Bowl heroes. I just don't see that. I don't see them being an organization to do that. I see them being like kind of world-class type deal. Anyway,
it's gonna be interesting to see what they do, because Leslie takes a pay cut though too, because it'd be nice hefty paycheck, and him getting injured all the time.
Sniper says Jerry Jones. Well, where's Jerry today? Jerry.
He's trying to find the money that he screwed Cooper Rush out of. Freaking clown.
Those two are actually meeting with their head coach. They'll probably keep him too. I wouldn't. That's not going to surprise anybody.
The Bears want to interview him.
Well,
these coaches that the Bears want to interview him, going, what in the hell?
I did hear that a couple of teams requested permission to interview Mike McCarthy. Now the question remained whether the Cowboys granted, the permission.
Mm-hmm.
Like they have to. There's a window, right? There's a window between this week up until I believe next Tuesday, the 14th. Then on that date, on the 14th, his contract expires.
Yeah.
So at that point, he could go interview with anybody. But right now, teams have to ask for permission.
Yeah, I think the Jets are. I think Jets can connect with him. And I read something that the Jets will interview Artie Smith as head coach.
I saw that. Artie Smith, I did see on the list. It wasn't that long ago, maybe 100 years ago, where Ringling Brothers and Barnum and Bailey Circus was here in New York.
Uh-huh.
The circus.
Yeah.
Maybe they're trying to bring that back.
Maybe. Oh.
Mr. Bakes Goat will be here all season, off season, dynasty season, free agency. What am I missing, for crying out loud? All the way right into winning 2025 championships. Yep. Mr. Bakes. Sniper already knows this. Rhino, do you have anything to part us with? I think we covered everything, right?
Gus Bradley got fired too today.
He got fired
late this afternoon.
He got fired. Lou Amarino. Yeah, well, we knew they were. I mean, I'm not. Again, those two coordinators, no surprise. No surprise. The two head coaches that were fired, no surprise at all. We're waiting for more shoes to drop, though.
There'll be more shoes. There's be one. We're going to go, holy crap. There's always one like that. Last year, Carroll.
We're waiting for more shoes to drop. Yep. We did get, again, the confirmation on the Giants. Okay, green check mark. What else? The Patriots. Gerard Mayo. Doesn't surprise me.
Yeah.
Doesn't surprise me. But let's save it for Thursday. And the AFC. Mr. Bakes, do you feel Antonio Pierce should be fired, even though he is in the contract till 2026?
No.
Yeah, we touched up on it a little bit, Bakes.
Mark Davidson came out and said that he really get a fair shake.
Gotta give him another opportunity. Gotta get him another piece or two, especially a quarterback, for the love of God. Give him a fighting chance.
Give him a quarterback, or just give him a quarterback and a running back, and just continue to build up on the defense. So they got some good defensive parts. So, but a good running back and a good quarterback, and one more decent wide receiver, because Jacoby Myers is a number one receiver. So he's a good receiver. He's just not great. They need a great one.
See, Antonio Pierce was a coach before he was a head coach, right?
He was linebackers coach.
He was the linebackers coach. But there was no... So here's where I'm going with this. It's that Gerard Mayo was a linebackers coach.
Mm-hmm.
But he had a written promissory note that once Bill Belichick retired, he was going to be the head coach.
Yeah.
Now, I don't really think that they didn't take into account. They didn't take into account that he may not be a good head coach. Doesn't matter what the pieces are that you have.
I think part of Mayo's downfall was him calling his team soft.
So you know what I mean? It's like,
Yeah.
if anything, Gerard Mayo has better pieces on his staff. He's got the quarterback.
Oh, yeah.
So I mean, like, yeah, they both of them come from positions as coaches that make them obviously really good football players and good football minds. But like Antonio Pierce just maybe has more of that type of leadership where he's a good head coach and just doesn't have the pieces.
Yeah.
Gerard Mayo has some pieces already. The most important piece.
Yeah.
And just may not be a very good leader. I think that's the way that's kind of how I'm looking at it right now.
Answer this for him. Sanders, okay. If they move up for Sanders, they might mortgage more than they want to for Sanders. Sanders, I love Sanders, looks good, but I'm not all in on Sanders. Not all in on him at all, because I worry about the dog and pony show that comes along with it. I don't want him to give up a bunch of draft picks. I don't want to pull what the 49ers did for Trey Lance, giving up 3 future number 1s and number 2s and stuff like that. That's not smart.
Many teams
that puts your organization behind.
Many teams can't get right. They can't turn that around so fast the way the Niners did. The Niners got freaking lucky that didn't hurt them. But yeah.
Now there's other quarterbacks that they could draft in the second round, third round, like a Carson Beck, who was Bauer's quarterback at Georgia, or Ewers from Texas, that they've all played in big games and are good quarterbacks. They just don't have the fanfare of a Sanders or a Cam Ward, So they just need to be careful about that. That's all.
They don't need the PR.
No, you know what? Okay.
I mean, like, they don't need that. They don't need that in their lives.
No.
They have that on their own. They're the Raiders. They have that. They don't need that.
They can't. For an organization that's starving to make the playoffs, for a quarterback, they can't pull a freaking Cleveland Browns. Put it that way. How Cleveland Browns just freaking gave up their organization for Deshaun Watson. That didn't turn out well. They can't do that. So and I trust their GM. So that's my take on Sanders.
They may like Aiden O'Connell.
They do. AP likes it. There you go.
There's the other part to it.
He's looked good. He's not. I mean,
the other part right there. They may think they have it with AOC.
You got to remember, because Tom Brady's there, and Mark Davis is leading on Tom Brady to get his input on stuff and all this. Because eventually, Tom Brady's be head of football operations. That's the goal. That's end goal. Yeah.
Oh, okay. I think that's Skylar disagreeing with that.
Yep, that was Skylar.
Yeah, I don't. He has to. I'm pretty sure resign from Fox. I don't think he could be football operations officially anyway.
All right,
folks. Yeah, we'll be back this Thursday, 8 p.m. We're gonna go into the AFC playoffs preview. What took place this past weekend with the teams that are playing this weekend, and then whoever else that's already in the off season, like the Jets, like Aaron Rodgers, like Joe Shiesty, and what the Bengals are up to right now.
Yeah.
We're just the nobody. Right? A little teaser before we go. No one wanted to see that team.
No, nobody did.
Nobody.
Uh-uh.
You don't ever have to apologize, dear. All right, Rhino. Good stuff.
Yep.
We'll be back on Thursday.
Yeah. Be a
8
difference.
p.m.
Make a difference, everybody. Not in your own life, somebody else's life.
Be a difference. Make
Yeah.
a difference. Sniper, if you're traveling in between now and Thursday, safe travels.
Yep.
Well, good night, everybody.
Good night.